public meeting. It's Thursday, November 2nd, 2023, 9 a.m. We are in the Hammond City Council chambers. Will you please call roll?
Chris Bankston. Here. Tara Bennett.
Here.
Roy Dufresh. Here. Michelle Juneau. Tom Pastorius. Cassie Reagan.
Here.
Jeffrey Smith.
Okay, our first item of old business is approval of the meeting minutes from October 5th. Does anybody have any
It
questions
actually
or
looks like
comments?
we won't be able to approve them because Roy was not at that meeting.
Okay, so do we have to make a motion to table that for the next meeting? Okay, I make a motion that we table approval of the minutes for October 5th, 2023 meeting until our next meeting.
Chris Bankston. Yes. Tara Bennett.
Yes.
Roy Dufresh. Yes. Michelle Juneau. Tom Pastorius. Cassie Reagan.
Yes.
Jeffrey Smith.
Okay, our next item is revised review Hammond welcome sign.
I bought these big ones, but I see you got these little ones in the packet, so,
Whatever you want.
I mean, we can look at it in these, the small ones, just.
And I also have it up here too.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see. The project has kind of been on hold for months, and we're back on it. And the revisions were mostly, well, there were two or three things. One was alignment of the sign with the existing bollard, and you can see the site plan is aligned with that existing bollard. And then we've made some modifications to the design based on some of the comments of the design committee. If you see this, the city of Hammond sign is going to be like a laser cut metal, powder coated, that's going to be lit from behind. Still has the same LED signage package that was originally discussed. And then we've incorporated some metal into the framework of the brickwork and also the sign support system on the sign. Made the column a little bit smaller width-wise and a little taller. So that's kind of where we are, and once approved, if approved today, we'll be moving into kind of the design development and getting it into CAD and that kind of thing. Hopefully have it out to bid sometime first of the year. Any questions?
I have one question, and I don't know why it just popped in my head. So sometimes it's digital, right? So it's going to have different messages. So sometimes if you look at some screens from an angle, you can't see what's on the screen. Is this one?
That would probably be the case if you get really like right up to it, you know, it's probably, but the consultant, well, he's not a consultant, he's actually one of the fabricators that we've met with that actually does these kind of signs. We showed him where we're putting it and at the angle, and he recommended it being perpendicular to the street.
Okay.
Not at an angle, and he said this thing should be able to be read quite a ways up. But yes, when you get right, when you get right next to it.
You want, yeah. Well, you wouldn't see any screen if you were right next to it.
They do these big signs all over, and
Okay,
I don't think it's going to be a real issue.
cool. So, anybody else have questions?
I just have a quick question. Since there's been, I think the original quote that you had, the city of Hammond was in a cast stone material.
We've gone through, yes.
Okay.
A couple of different.
Has the budget with these changes changed at all? Okay.
Not that we can tell. You know, we'll have a better idea when we get to the next stage of it. We can do some costing with some contractors of what I want to do. And we'll have some alternates in there, like the landscaping is definitely going to be an alternate. You know, trying to get the basics in there, of course, the electrical and the signage and that kind of thing. But there'll definitely be some alternates. And what I'll do probably when we're done with our contract document package, come back and I'll have a better idea where we are budget-wise and what the alternate package is going to look like, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So do we need to have a motion to approve the revisions, or?
Yeah, and then they will send them to the board.
Okay.
Yeah, I make a motion to
I'll second.
Can I
Oh,
vote?
yeah, he can't
I can
vote.
Make a motion to table this.
I make a motion that we let the board know that everyone in attendance was in approval of the revisions. I don't know that the board has to have our vote in order to vote.
Right.
I'm gonna go ahead and move forward with it, assuming it's gonna get approved, because we need to get really moving with it.
Mhm.
So we've lost several months.
Yeah, and I probably should have touched base outside the meeting, but we'll do so just so we kind of have a clear idea about how the city, since it's a city partnership, DDD funds and the city's funds, you know, who's going to be entering into the contract with the contractor, or how that's all going to kind of work. So I guess I guess he couldn't approve that motion anyway, so maybe we'll just, what do you want to do, Cassie?
I think we just tell the board that we reviewed it. We didn't have a quorum to vote, but everyone in attendance was in favor.
Okay,
That's all I know to do.
yeah. That's what we'll do.
Okay, our next, we go to new business, architectural review, 1604 Southwest Railroad Avenue, and this is what's in our packet. I see it's on 51, where on?
Yes, so I didn't print out any of the photos just because, to save ink, but it is,
Right next to the sign.
yes, right next.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's basically in front of where the new hotel is being built. And we do have a representative from Seven Brew. This is the establishment that is doing the new construction. They will be operating their business there. So Brogan, I didn't quite get your last name, but Brogan is here representing Seven Brew if you have any questions.
Okay. Do we have, okay, you have it up here.
We've got all the plans up here, so if y'all want me to bring something up, let me know. And I also have some photos of other built-out locations. So actually, this is in a separate area, but I'll pull those up as well so you can see what a final product would look like.
And your role is what?
I'm the newsstand opening manager
Okay.
for the Sticks and Stones, so this is our franchise.
Uh-huh.
We have Jackson, Mississippi area, all the way down to the New Orleans greater area,
Okay.
and then Idaho. Yeah.
Anybody have any questions so far?
I noticed on here, it's kind of ghosted with kind of big elements out there. It's like cooler freezer, it's a big silver cooler freezer kind of thing.
Oh, in the back?
Yeah. on this
So
side.
it's gonna be visible from the street. And we were talking prior to the meeting, looking at it, that we might want some screening. I'll suggest some screening of that.
So we've wrapped them in the past, so I can actually pull it up to the one we're doing in Flowood, Mississippi right now. Sorry, I should have had that already pulled up.
So this is just a kind of a drive-through thing, but I see where cars park. Is that for employees or is
Yeah,
that
that's
for?
for employees, it's drive-through only.
A drive-through out there.
So this is what we did, I can send it so you guys have it in. So that's what we did, we wrapped it, so it has cultivating kindness on one side of it. We'll have the state of Louisiana, the star where Hammond is, and then it's a QR code. So it kind of just makes it look prettier then.
You say wrap, these are just things that apply to the whole thing is wrapped.
The whole thing's wrapped.
So it's white?
Yeah, so we did this one white, with a little bit of gray shading on it.
That's probably better than silver.
We like it better than the silver. Let's see it, there's, 4 different.
Okay.
So yeah, it just looks a little bit better than the full silver.
Okay. Huh? Landscaping's going to go through the city, because the city's going to have requirements.
I mean, we never see those things anymore.
Yeah, well, they did provide a site plan, just so you can kind of see, you know, how they're kind of connecting to the existing roadway and how traffic will be moving in and out. The landscaping plan was not finished at the time that she sent this over, but they are working on it. I do have some photos pulled up of existing locations, so you can kind of see some examples of landscaping they've done in the past, but it changes with every location. This is per Ashley, because I did ask her about landscaping, just so we got to get more of a fuller feel of how the site is kind of built out. But usually there's some sort of landscaping in the front. Given that it is a drive-through, I think they, you know, they try to put it where they can.
That's a side.
And there are
Well, I'm
no-
sure the city has specific requirements for landscaping, so I'm sure it'll be in compliance with that.
See, I think that's just a sign, that box or that is just kind of.
So there's, cars are only on one side, and then the other side will have like a picnic bench, table. People sit out during nice weather, but we're all about speed.
Anybody have any other questions?
And there are no sidewalks that go all the way down here. Something I didn't really, I was thinking about that. I was like, what's the connect, but there's no sidewalks.
The sidewalk's on the other side of the street. No. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve.
Go ahead.
I'll second.
Chris Bankston.
Yes.
Tara Bennett.
Yes.
Roy Dufresh.
Yes.
Michelle Juneau. Tom Pastorius. Cassie Reagan.
Yes.
Jeffrey Smith.
Thank you.
So I'll follow up with Ashley and you via email, and we do a quick letter of certificate of appropriateness, so they are able to move forward. Thanks, Brooke.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our last item is director's report.
Yes, so just some quick updates here. History exhibit panels are still in fabrication. Can't quite get an exact install date from them, but I am trying to contact them every single day to try to get some information. It has moved a little bit slower, just with packaging. We got the sample printed, and then they were kind of waiting on us for that. So anyway, early winter is sort of what she's given me, but no exact date. The second round of benches will be installed, they'll be delivered the week of Thanksgiving. So granted that there are no delays, those will be delivered the week of Thanksgiving. And then I know we hired out the bench installation in the past with our contractor, but I have spoken with the city about the scope of what that install is. I mean, it's really just a surface mount into the pavers. And so, you know, I guess my thinking was I would just kind of work with the city on that item to install them, but the pavers that are inset in front of the bench is a little bit beyond the scope of what I've been able to deduce from what we have with the city. So I just kind of wanted to throw that out there to see if y'all have any other ideas or suggestions about the install, because we will have that coming up soon.
I'll find somebody to do that.
Okay.
And I'd like to meet with the city, with you, before they do the installation of that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the benches.
Yeah.
So maybe we could meet out there with them.
Yeah.
Kind of keep me involved in that.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the history exhibits. I want to make sure that we meet prior to they do the installation, so we can go over that with them, because historic district wants to make sure we don't go into their bricks with
Right.
we're going to go into joints. And I just want to make sure that we have the proper masonry anchors and those kind of things that we had talked about when we bid it out. So, and I'll let Kristen.
Has Kristen called you?
No, but I'm gonna.
Okay.
I'm gonna touch base with Kristen.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
see what the schedule is and say, don't forget, you need to coordinate with me before they do any installation.
Yeah, we'll keep you looped in.
We cover it beforehand, but we don't have any problems.
Yeah, good deal. We did decide on a picnic table for the park. We just haven't quite had the time to put that out there and kind of advertise for the sponsorships, but we'll be starting that in a couple of weeks. And finding a new home for those wooden picnic tables. In terms of city maintenance, now we kind of discussed this a little bit last time. I guess an interesting change with some of the city staff. Whitney Statham was the director of Parks and Grounds. She has now moved to the position of city beautification and special projects, which, just talking to her, kind of texting kind of casually, she seems really excited about this and that she'll have more opportunity to to execute on all the things that we want to see in downtown. Really everything from downtown to like the roundabout that hasn't been repaired for the past couple of years. It seems like this is going to be a good move to kind of work a little bit more strategically with some of our goals that we have in making downtown look the best that it can. So we'll be meeting next week to make sure that we revisit all the maintenance items for Railroad Park. Since we had that drought that came through, some of the landscaping, some of the bushes have died. We've got quite the weed growth, liriope and whatnot has kind of come up. So there's several areas in the taming of the jasmine, things that just really haven't been done maybe in the way that they need to. So with this move, I think we'll be able to be working a little bit better and just
If you
having.
want to include me in that, I'll be
I will.
glad to sit in on that.
Yes, we can do that.
There are some things that need to be taken care of that haven't been for a while.
Yes, including the fountain.
Many things.
Yes, which is another thing. I will say the damage that we had to the park last year, and there was a car wreck that took out the gate and the water fountain. The gate and the fence have now been reinstalled. And when I last went out there, they were working on the water fountain. I don't know if it's totally operational yet, but it was done to fit what was, or basically replace what was there. So, and the city did that work, and it was a little bit slow, but it looks really good. So, happy with that. Sidewalk reimbursement program, our guidelines are now on our website, and I have sent it directly to the interested parties that have mentioned that this was something that would work for them in the projects that they were doing. So if you go to our website under businesses, funding and financial aid, you'll see our sidewalk reimbursement program listed there now, along with our facade grant and loan program. So we haven't received any applications yet, but it is out there. So if you know anyone that's going to be doing projects in the district in our kind of target area, please let them know about that. And then just one update from our last meeting as well. I know we talked about looking at intersections improvements for the spring, and interestingly, through some other, I guess, channels that I have, there is what's called the Transportation Assistance Program through the State Department of Transportation. And if you're a government agency, basically you can apply for these funds. Obviously, it would be in our best interest to probably work with the city, but we could be the applicant for this. And basically the priority for this program, it requires minimal matching, and it is focused on pedestrian improvements. That's why it's called Transportation. Transportation Assistance Program. It's also called Transportation Alternate Program. Those applications will be opening in the spring. One thing, just looking at some of their previous requests for proposals, is that applications are stronger when a municipality has a complete streets policy adopted. I know some of this might not kind of be going over your head, but as a part of our master plan, we do have, complete streets mentioned. The city of Hammond does not have a complete streets policy adopted. So usually what that looks like is the city council adopting a complete streets ordinance, which basically prioritizes whenever a street is being renovated, that they're designing it back for not only cars, but pedestrians and cyclists wherever applicable. So just some things that are kind of coming up. We're all kind of in event planning mode right now, so can't take a huge bite out of that, but I know we talked a lot about a pedestrian awareness campaign, and just kind of building some of the momentum around safety in downtown, walking, pedestrian awareness, our motorists driving slower. So maybe there's an opportunity to kind of work all of that in together and kind of get the biggest bang for our buck with this infrastructure project. So just kind of wanted to update you all on that.
I know you guys are busy, but I think a meeting, at least with Lacey, and whoever else with the city who would want to be involved in it, that we should at least start a conversation with them, because it's going to be really necessary to have them and have DOTD. We're going to have to all get together before we try to submit
Right.
anything in the spring and discuss this and what's already there, what needs to be implemented, and who's going to handle what. So it might be nice to try to at least have an initial meeting before the end of the year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions? Any public comment? Are we streaming?
We are streaming.
Is there any public comment?
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
Person watching.
All right, then
I think it's us, actually.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
thank you.
So moved. So moved.